Hello, friends. Thank you for joining us. My name is Joel. And this is the O2 Drop. You're listening to your favorite made-for-adults Pokémon VGC podcast, coming from Perth, home of the A-Team, consisting, of course, of Dizzy B.
What up, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts? It's your boy.
C Mizzle.
I think that's you, Chris.
I thought my official title now was Oreo's least favorite panelist.
Oh, well, that's a bit hard to turn into a YouTube name. So we're joined by Oreo's least favorite panelist.
It's me, Chris Ma. Wah, wah, wah.
Wrong one. And, of course, the COVID carrier himself, Mark Murray.
We do not know that I was the carrier, thanks very much.
H0, we found him.
We found him.
At that fucking... Okay. Of the two of us in this chat who have COVID, one of us got it first, and that's me, and so I'm copping the blame. But what we do know is someone at that fucking Pokemon tournament had COVID, and now it's my problem.
So you may notice from the sound...
Which is why...
Yeah, we're obviously not in the same room this evening. So if you're joining us for the first time, apologies for the quality. We are doing an internet recording. Yes, because most of us are feeling pretty run down from the Melbourne Regional Championships. Had over probably 1,600 people in that venue at one time. It was, and I think I can say with confidence and without getting in trouble, just short of OCIC 2023 for attendance. So it was a big fucking event that we had in Melbourne this weekend.
How many people did you say there were?
Well, this includes spectators and judges. Around about 1,600.
Yeah, but what's the total number?
Okay,
because I'm pretty sure that's about 1,600 more than were at OCIC 2023. Because we didn't have OCIC in 2023.
Wasn't it? It was for the 2023 season, wasn't it?
2022, I believe.
Whatever.
I actually think it was 2023, but that's just me.
Oh, well, we can edit it out if... yeah, you know what? We can just go ahead and edit this out.
Yeah. We're going to start again.
Right.
Not really. So, I was a judge for VG for Melbourne Regionals, and I have to say it was an extremely fun event from a judging perspective. I can tell you that I spent a very long time on my feet over the 3 days, walking over 60,000 steps. I, as a joke, weighed myself on Thursday morning before I flew out because I was like, I bet I'll lose some weight because I'm going to be on my feet for like 3 days. Yet 2.5 kilos lighter when I weighed myself this morning. So
damn.
Yeah.
And that's not including the extra kilogram of calluses that you put on.
Exactly. So it was a huge time. Obviously, lots of running around with the docks were in action. So everyone who's ever used a dock knows what happens there. But we were managing what was happening there. I think a lot of good feedback from most of the competitors there. Great bunch of people that I got to work with in Melbourne. So, if you're one of those judges from the VG team, thank you for a great weekend. I hope we get to do it again for the first event in 2026 season in Australia because, judging it was an absolute privilege. Had a lot of fun. Got to meet some really cool people for the first time as well. So shout out to Scoot Easy and Lord Kai for having a chat to me when I had some free time. Really cool to meet you guys in person at last. Of course, I got to meet Melbourne Matt as well, who hung out at Fortress. Great time. And anyone that I didn't have time to say hi to, sorry about that, but a lot of fun on the weekend. So to the people who actually played...
Judging real Pokemon for once.
Yeah, I was judging
Oh, how was it? How was it judging real Pokemon for once? Because usually you're a Pokemon Go judge, but you actually got to judge the big leagues this time.
What do you mean usually? It's about a 50-50
The last time
split
you
for
were
me.
judging at a regs.
Yeah, last time at the regs, I got to be the stream judge, which in itself was like a really cool version of judging. But no, like it's very cool. Shout out to all the Aussie players and Japanese players, Chinese players that traveled for the event, a few Indonesians as well, for just being the most chill bunch of players in the world, because we had a very easy time compared to some of the stories I've seen. So yeah, shout out to all the VG
I
players.
I imagine for you, it's probably quite good to be back judging VGC, because when you're judging Go as a VGC player, you probably get quite confused. You know, like tell the players, "Hey, the phone's off the table," and they give you a weird look. It's like, what are you talking about? It's Pokemon Go.
Stop texting. Focus on your game.
The disconnects are Jesus Christ. I know we say this after basically every regionals, but for me personally, that was definitely the worst I experienced. I think every round I had a connection issue of some variety.
Yeah.
The only one I didn't was when I was playing a game against one of our subscribers, actually, who was just like, nah, let's just offline, we'll just search link battle like we would at local. And then we had no issues at all.
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't get one single disconnect. It was fine for me the entire weekend.
Wow.
Do you
I
have...
envy you.
Yeah, your opponent Dan was the one who had all the issues.
Yeah, all my opponents were the one.
Yeah. How many rounds until you actually played a proper round of VGC?
3.
Okay. As in,
But then-
on the third round, you played a proper game of VGC, or?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Hang on. So
I realized something happened round 3 as well.
what
It was a
happened?
funny
Round 4,
team.
there was another team.
Yeah, number 4. Yeah, would you like me to go through my run? Are we going to delve straight into it?
Yeah, let's jump in.
Before we do, I want to quickly say, you mentioned thanks to all the Australian players and all the players that travel, but I also want to say thank you to everyone who chatted to us, recognized us from the O2 Drop, said that they listened to the podcast. We gave out heaps of the O2 Drop stickers. Thank you to everyone who, I think there was at one point where I offered my opponent an O2 Drop sticker, and then literally everyone in every direction suddenly wanted a sticker too. There's probably 12 players on our table that all wanted a sticker at the same time. I was like, oh wow. I don't know if they just wanted free shit or they genuinely were supporting the O2 Drop. But thank you to everyone who said that most people had at least listened to an episode before, knew what we were. And I hope that the people that I recruited to the podcast, if you're listening to this, shout outs to you guys. When I go through my tournament run, I'll give out some more personalized shout outs. But thank you to everyone who said that they loved our t-shirts and, just were very supportive. It was really, really heartwarming to and just everyone there were so many big profile name players that were just sort of so friendly to the Perth crew in general. You even saw Shohei sneak into the WA group photo.
Yeah. that was crazy.
Shohei sneaking into that was fucking awesome, man. When I saw that photo, I was just like, ain't no way Shohei was like, I'm going to jump in on this. So good.
Did he sneak in, though, or was he just kind of there when we started taking a photo and was too awkward to leave?
I don't know. He knows Alistair and Kuro, obviously, and they were in the group shots. So we claim Shohei as one of our own now.
Shohei's now a Perthian.
He's got a place here forever now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and Perth went back to back. We retained the Melbourne Championship in the name of Perth.
We did.
And it's such a reach to call Kuro a Perth player, but I'm more than happy to do it.
He literally lived here, Mark.
He was here for 6 months.
He was here.
He was our locals.
He was here on a
I'm
student
well aware
visa.
he came to our locals. We've had Easterners come to our locals as well. He was living here, but it's a fucking stretch to call him a Perth player.
Nah. Go check out our interview, our exclusive winners interview with Kuro after he won. It's on YouTube.
Oh yeah, and we did interview him, and like many people who live in Perth and are Perthians, he needed a translator because he doesn't speak English very well. Because he's such a Perth player.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
Okay, we're just going to mute.
I don't know what the fuck you're
I can't
talking
mute
about,
Mark
mate.
down. Shout out to Alistair for stepping in and being the translator. Big ups, we love that.
Yeah, as Friend of the show, Anthony Sabia, pointed out we've got another unpaid intern on our staff now.
Hell yeah.
We're all unpaid for the last time. There's no such thing as paid anything. And
Nah, that's not true. I'm sure Joel is embezzling some of the $3 a month payments we're getting from our subscribers. None of the rest of us are looking at those numbers. We're just taking his word for it. He's just like, yeah, we've got like, this amount of money from subscribers. And we're just like, yeah, that's probably right.
Hey, we have enough money to print another
drop commits tax fraud.
We have enough to print a new run of stickers, so we'll get some memes
just
done.
have so many.
I know.
I got them after round 3. Calm down.
Congratulations to our unpaid intern, Alistair Sandover, for coming top 8, by the way.
Yeah, huge. You got the bye at the end of Swiss, so that was huge.
After beating Kieran in round 7, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he took out Nick Khan in round 9 and Oliver Ramsey in round 10. And then, unfortunately got pipped by Jude Lee in top 8, but he didn't have to play the top 16 round, so you got all of that.
Jude Lee was on an absolute tear.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was insane that tournament.
All the player, like all the top level players I was talking to were just saying he is an absolute menace without Terrapagos.
Yeah, for sure.
I still think it's a fraud. I still don't like Terrapagos. I still think it's a fraud. I think
at our level it sucks, but like the good players can make it work.
At our level it sucks.
What level would that be, Mark? Like top tier? S tier?
I think people who win challenges and cups, but people who don't win regionals.
Oh, okay, so us. Yeah. Big fish in a small pond.
Yeah, that small pond is a 6-person locals on a Thursday night.
Hell yeah.
All right, so who wants to take us through their run in Melbourne first? Dan?
Well, why don't you do it first, Dan, so that people can hear what happened at the start of your day?
Yeah. I got blessed with a good run to begin with and just fucking threw it away. My team was, drum roll, it was the Koala team that Colin Hire pivoted recently. It was Koala pivoted. Yes.
Piloted.
Played. Yep. I mean, he pivoted it. It has a U-turn on Insin. What do you want here? Koala, Insin, Ursaluna, Amoongus, and Fluttermane.
So Koala, for those uninitiated, is Caridon Lunala.
That's correct. My round 1 was against a player who's his first regional. He was running Caridon Zamazenta.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he did not bring his Joy-Cons because they were broken.
Oh no.
And his controller was not connecting. So he literally could not play the game.
Oh no.
So he had to O2 drop from the tournament.
I was going to shout out
O2 dropping.
Pablo is one of 4 O2 droppers from Melbourne.
And the worst part is because I forgot to bring the stickers that morning. He left before he could get one.
I mean, to be like, oh, damn, you didn't bring your Joy-Cons and here's a sticker because you're going to drop. It would have been insult to injury, but
so much.
Here's an O2 drop sticker to commemorate this day.
Round 2 was against Lewis Goal, who was running a Thunderbirds team. There was also an issue in this one. He had a wrong move on one of his mons, so that was a game loss in our first game, and then I won the second game. So going into round 3, I only played 1 game and 1 turn. Round 3 was against a Chinese player. His name was Zhao Shen Liang, and he was running Terra Ice Kurum White with Groudon. I don't even think we have a name for this duo, do we?
No, of course we fucking don't.
I think we get to dub it.
But I think this legend gets to dub it. I have to find out what he calls it.
Let's call it the Zhao Chen. It was an interesting team. He had a Snowskate booster energy on his Screamtail, but also Sun. So I don't know, he didn't really have much for Trick Room because I set that up and then Ursaluna swept.
Yeah, that's a weird team to put Trick Room on unless he was planning to run into lots of lots of tailwind.
Well, he did have Trick Room on his Scream Tail, but yeah, there kind of wasn't much for it apart from Brute Bonnet. But again, Ursaluna just doesn't get spored, so
Yeah.
What's an ice skating reference we could, because you've got the snow, like the ice version, and then you've got Precipice Blades. So you're basically ice skating. So we need like a Tonya Harding or like some sort of ice skating reference.
Yeah, call it the Tonya Harding, because the only way you could win with that team is by breaking your opponent's legs.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yo.
No, this could be that thing that you guys were discussing in the last episode with Matt Slocum. This could be the permafrost, frozen ground.
Yeah.
We're kind of saying that the Kali-Ai Groudon, though.
Are they?
Yeah, but we may have to.
I don't know. Zhao Chen, let us know.
Yeah, but what about just simply Growrim?
What about Groudon, Kyurem Black? How will we differentiate?
Fuck, good point.
All right, so Tonya it is. Excellent, done.
Excellent, Tonya. Zhao Chen finished up 4-4 at the end of the tournament, moving on. Round 4 was against Angus Wood. He was running Calyrex Shadow and Zacian. Again, I don't think we have a name for this duo.
No.
Rex,
Cali Shadowzation.
Scooby-Doo 2?
It's actually one of the first things I cooked in Reg Eye, because it was the only way I could think of making my Cali Shadow team more Unga Bunga.
For those of
You
us...
call this one Scrappy Doo.
Yeah, you could.
Yo, I like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm happy with Scrappy Doo.
Yeah.
So Angus is running Scrappy Doo.
For those of you who are local to Perth, you remember that Angus did actually travel because he was visiting family, and he came to one of our local challenges at Cannington, I think.
Oh, sweet. So by our logic, that makes him a Perth player.
No, because he came for one event.
Fuck up, Mark. He didn't live there.
Lived here for a couple of days.
Mark,
He'll
not
live
just
around
anyone
in a
can be
second.
Perth player. They have to be approved by a panel of judges.
Yeah, they have to.
Am I on this panel?
They have to embody the spirit of Perth, which Kuro certainly
by
does.
winning a regional, and they were just like, "That one's ours.
Yeah.
That's ours."
It does.
Dibs.
Shotgun.
They have to demolish a KFC Zinger box in under 2 minutes.
If Shohei wins Worlds again this coming year, we're gonna say he's a Perth player because he was in our fucking photo.
Correct.
Yeah,
Course.
pretty much.
Cool. Just making sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
We're all in the same photo.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, against Angus playing Scrappy Doo, I won game 1. Game 2, he leads his Kelly Shadow. I look at the team sheet. It says Terra Dark. I'm like, excellent. I'm going to Moonblast this thing. It Terra Normals. And I'm like, hold up.
You're like, judge.
So I call the judge. And then since it was game 2 and I won game 1, I just win the set.
Very
so
good.
I'm going into round 5, only playing like 4 games properly.
Huge.
Round 5 was against Bingji Wang, who finished 10-2, absolutely dismantled me with his
A very
Calyrex.
respectable Wang there.
Yeah, it was a big Wang.
Wait, hang on, that was the Chinese Leech Seed Calyrex, wasn't it?
That's correct. Yeah,
Yeah, because I also had a run in with
destroyed
that.
me. I didn't take a game off him. He just like pivoted the fuck. And I'm like, I don't know how to deal with this. And yeah, he did very well. Next,
that's right. He was
round
running the
6
Terra Fairy
was-
Cali Ice as well.
Yeah, only attacking move was Glacial Lance.
Crazy.
Round 6 was against a very own local Timothy Nurse. He was running the winning Nightlight team from the Tangs. We had a good 3-game set. Little shit crit my Ursaluna twice and I lost, but hey, at least it was a Perth player getting into day 2 with it. Round 7 was against Nathan, who was running, what did we dub Miraidon Shadow Rider? I don't think.
Miraidon Shadow Rider was... Yeah, shit, I don't know if I've come up with one for this.
Horsepower? Like it's electric and a horse.
I like that, actually.
Horsepower does vibe.
Eh?
Power horse. I don't know.
That horsepower it is. I beat Nathan, and then my last round was against Julian's opponent, who was running double bike. It was an
Hell yeah.
awful Sash, Taunt, Terra Ghost, Single Strike, Urshifu, and
Jesus.
Scarf Iron Moth. Yeah.
Wow.
And unfortunately,
So
he
heat.
beat me. He beat me, ending my run since it was my winning in, and ultimately gatekeeping from Worlds. Fuck you, Julian. No, I'm kidding. It was a good set, and he was a good guy about it. But yeah, that was my run. I think overall,
a top
could have been
64
better,
run for you.
Yeah, finished 42nd. Got a booster box for it, so
Finished right behind
Ooh.
the previous regional champion and friend of the show, Kieran Singh, who also went 5-3 on the weekend.
yeah, he came 41st. Was even in Melbourne, even in this scenario, I'm still like under Kieran. So hell yeah.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Who's going to be the next one? Do we go to
Yeah, all right, I'll go.
Mark?
Do we go in order?
Wait, yeah, out of Chris, were you also 5-3?
No, I had my worst ever regionals performance. So let's just.
All right, we'll leave
Let's just
the
do
best
you,
till
and
last
then
then. Yep. All right. So my I'll quickly run over what I was running. So I was running double bike, or velodrome as I've been calling it, which is Miraidon Koraidon, with Whimsicott, Farigiraf, Incineroar, and Raging Bolt.
Yeah, boy.
I'm going to be honest, the whole reason I put this entire team together was purely because I wanted to do the big Raging Bolt funny of Sunny Day and Electric Terrain Rising Voltage for big damage. And it delivered. A couple of eyes widening across the table from me as I took out things that were expected to stick around with a nice big fat Rising Voltage. But yeah, that was a team. Quite fun. I was running the loaded dice variant of Koraidon. So it's loaded dice scale shot rather than running flame charge, which allows it to get access to its second stab rather than having to run 2 fire type moves, neither of which are stab until you Terra. And the other benefit, which I think is more important, is it allows you to take out Sash Pokemon, especially Sash Calyrex Shadow Rider. Excuse me, can be taken out by a 5-hit scale shot. So you've got a 50% chance to take it out there and then, or a 100% chance if you tickle it first using Prankster Tickle Whimsicott, which I was also running. Apart from that, the team was relatively standard. But I'll talk about my run. So round 1, I was up against, and apologies if I butcher your name, because apparently he listens. Zhicheng Pan from China was running the Leech Seed, Terra Grass, Bulky Stall, Calyrex Ice Rider.
Yeah.
Double terrain team. He had both Miraidon and Rillaboom. He didn't bring Miraidon against me. But it was both games he would lead Rillaboom and Glamora. Focus Glamora, and he would both times U-turn into his own Glamora to bring in either Incineroar or Calyrex Ice.
Yeah, so he's dropping
and
spikes.
that would guarantee at least
side.
one level of toxic spikes. Yeah, so that was a pain in the ass. Even when I was trying to play around the toxic spikes, it didn't. And the whole point of his team was his grassy terrain recovery, leftovers on the Calyrex, Leech Seed, and that sort of thing to essentially poison stall out the games. Accompany that with the Incineroar, Intimidate Spam, the Fake Out on Incin and Rillaboom. He had Okidogi on his team as well, which is heat, but I don't think he brought it either game. So that one I lost a couple of points during each of the games. I thought I actually had it in the bag, but he just maneuvered it incredibly well and was able to successfully stall out both games. Round 2, I was up against a Australian player called Thomas Dervin, who was running Terrapagost. That was an incredibly frustrating loss for me because I won game 1. Game 2, I had the game in such a winning state that it would have taken bad luck or me having a stroke to lose it. And then the game disconnected.
Oh, no.
And
So the game had a stroke.
The game had a stroke. It came up first on his Switch, which doesn't necessarily mean that his Switch was the problem, but it indicates it's a fucking possibility. And he dismissed the message that came up before the judge got to the table, which meant if it was his Switch that was the problem, the judge couldn't call that. So there was no game loss. It was 4 Pokemon versus 3. Now, one of his 3 Pokemon was a Terrapagos that was on court into Calm Mind. The other one was an Incineroar at the back on 1 HP. But technically, he did have 3 Pokemon up.
Yeah.
And 4 Pokemon versus 3 counts as a tie, which means the game is, it's a tie. 4 Pokemon versus 2, as I found out later, is also a tie.
Sure is.
Which surprises me.
Yep, unfortunately it's only 4v1 and 3v1.
Yeah, which I feel like the 3v1 one makes sense, but I feel like 4v2. Yeah, I mean, let's just not have the fucking disconnects, right? And then it won't be an issue.
100%.
But yeah, so that was called a tie. Went to game 3. In fairness, I whiffed it. I tried to make an adjustment. It was not a smart call. So it went to sudden death. And sudden death it wasn't when you're up against a sturdy Ogerpon and a Calyrex Shadow Rider with Sash, you're not going to have a good time in sudden death. So I lost that one, unfortunately. Then I went to round 3 against Jim Barner from New Zealand. Came up from Hamilton with a crew of New Zealand VGC players, which was awesome to hear. He was running... did we ever come up with a team name for Ho-Oh and Kuro Black?
It is one of the cores, meta cores. So
of course.
We did.
Icebergs.
Was it Thanksgiving? Because it was like, I don't know, something like that.
I'm going to be honest, I don't think this came up when we were discussing team cores.
No, I don't think it's an expected core at all.
I will say his team was absolutely heat. Shout out to a fellow loaded dice on one of your restricteds enjoyer. Because he was running loaded dice Kuro Black. He was running it next to Scarf Annihilate. It was the Final Gambit Scarf Annihilate.
Yeah.
But it also had coaching on it as well. So he could lead Ho-Oh or Kuro Black next to the Annihilate and could threaten a KO on either Pokemon with a Scarf Final Gambit, or if he was anticipating a switch or a Terror or a double protect or like a passive play like that, he just side coaching is restricted.
Yeah.
So huge. I will say his team was absolutely heat. Bearing in mind also this was the 0-2 tables. We were both 0-2 when we came up against one another.
Yeah.
I won, which took him to 0-3, and by the end of the day he was 4-4. So he managed to submarine from 0-3 to 4-4 with a Kuro Black. So
huge.
Mad shout out to this guy. He was also just a really cool guy. We played out game 1. I won, even after my Miraidon got final gambited. Then game 2, I was in an absolute winning split state. It was 4 Pokemon versus 2. And I can't remember the exact game state, but it was very much just like next turn, it's over. Yeah. And the judge came over and was like, oh, it's 4 versus 2, it's a tie. And Jim was like, no, you totally had that one in the bag. I'm signing this match set for you. So that was very good of him. And then we decided to play one out for fun, which we did because he had a sick team and I wanted to play against it again. Nice. So that was good. Took me to 1-2. Next round 4, I was up against another Australian called Lochiel Cameron. Apologies if I got that name wrong. Running Wheezing Calyrex Shadow Rider with Dondozo Tatsu, which was an odd version. So it was Calyrex Shadow and Kyogre were the 2 restricteds. The Kyogre was Choice Scarf, Terra Water, and the Calyrex was Choice Specs. So it was not a good team to bring into Raging Bolt, basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no protect against that.
So the Dozo Tatsu, no protect on either of those mons in front of the Thunderclapper, and also Kyogre not being able to Terra out of the Thunderclap as well. So that one was a pretty favorable matchup for me, although I will say Wheezing, Calyrex Shadow Rider, and Dondozo can still go fuck itself. Round 5, I was up against Jack Roth, who's another Australian, running Koraidon and Calyrex Ice Rider. I cannot remember if we came up with a name for that one. But that was... Sorry, what was that, Dan?
I don't think so.
No, there's not one I've seen particularly commonly.
No. It's a bit of a mix. You don't really want your horse in sun.
Yeah, somewhat. He was also running Brute Bonnet and Iron Hand, so it was like kind of a semi-room team with Choice Scarf, Chi-Yu, and Wheezing. Just generally a very well-constructed team, I have to say. And I will say they were probably the best matches I played all day. Like, I don't know if you've ever had those games where like you'll get up after the 3-game set and you're just shaking because of like how intense it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Didn't help that I was on the X2 break point and another loss meant I was out of contention. So at this point I was 2-2. And it went down to game 3. Final couple of turns, I only have my Koraidon left. He's got his Calyrex Ice Rider and his Koraidon. His Calyrex Ice Rider and his Iron Hands left. Calyrex Ice Rider is on low HP. Iron Hands is on a bit under half. Second to last turn, I have to predict whether or not he's going to protect the Calyrex, because if he does and I target it, I lose. He doesn't protect it, I target it, making the call successfully and take it out. Iron Hands gets a Drain Punch onto my Koraidon, healing back some of its own HP. I'm on low health, so if I take out the Iron Hands, I win. If I don't, I lose. Go for the Flare Blitz, which takes it down to 8 HP, he told me it was. So either if the Flare Blitz had rolled higher or if the Drain Punch had rolled lower and healed him for less, I may have been okay there. I don't know exactly where those damage rolls are. Maybe they were already in my favor. But that was a very frustrating way to miss out on day 2.
For sure.
But still just 3 fantastic games, and I'm not overly sad about it, especially since considering in game 3, I tried to make a sneaky play and preempt his Trick Room on his Calyrex with my Furrygraph to turn off the Trick Room the same turn he turned it on. He switched his Calyrex out on that turn, and I just turned on Trick Room for him. So the fact that I was able to, play around it and bring it back to a point where it was as close as it was, I can't be too bad at that.
Yeah, for sure.
Next round 6, I was up against friend of the show, Matt Montemuro.
AKA
Matt is a
Melbourne Matt
subscriber. We have nicknamed him Melbourne Matt to differentiate him from Perth Matt. Matt was running another call that I'm not sure we named, Zacian and Miraidon.
No, I don't think we named that one.
We need to get our shit together. Next week, we need to come with a bunch of suggestions for cores that we haven't already named, because we're going to see a bunch more pop up between now and Worlds, and being the highbrow, top-end VGC media that we are.
Simply the best.
We should be doing our Worlds coverage properly. So anyway, who's running Lizard Dog?
Lizard Dog.
With... I'm sticking with it. Lizard Dog, Iron Hands, Furrygraph, Whimsicott, and Urshifu. The Urshifu bothered me slightly because it was a Terra Stella Water Urshifu with Choice Scarf. So my monkey brain saw that and thought, ooh, me Thunderclap. It has coaching. So I was like, it can't Terra out of it. It's not nothing in attacks. He was down to his last 2 Pokemon. I was like, I'm just thunderclapping this. It's going to die. And it didn't because it clicked coaching. And I looked at the screen for about 5 seconds, just like confused caveman. Just, I was like, why Bear not dead? So fair play to him. People gave me shit for running Tickle on my Whimsicott. He was running Charm on his.
Hell yeah.
So mad props to that. Shout out to a fellow Whimsicott enjoyer who's just fucking sick of their opponents having an attack stat. In fairness, he wasn't running Incineroar, and I sunk to the depths where I was running Incineroar. But we played a 3-game set. I should have won in 2 games, but I forgot that I had Encore of my Whimsicott when I went into the last turn of game 2. His Miraidon had just protected, and I could have Encored it into Protect and then just safely won with the Whimsicott and whatever I had next to it, which I can't remember. Oh, it was Koraidon. It was Koraidon and Whimsicott. And if I just went for the Encore into the Protect, then I would have just been able to win the game there and then. Instead, I went for the Scale Shot with Koraidon and Moonblast with Whimsicott. Tailwind was up, and he didn't have Terra. But because I didn't Encore him, the Scale Shot fucking missed.
Of course it did. Of course.
The Scale Shot missed. So even if I went Collision Course and Moonblast, that was also a guaranteed lock. So I basically fumbled 2 guaranteed wins because the caveman brain turned itself on again.
Oh no!
The worst thing that the newer Pokemon games have done to my psyche is include that little super effective indicator on the moves when you're clicking them. So it's like, Encore doesn't say super. Moonblast says super effective. I have to do the Scale Shot super effective. So I lost that one and had to battle my way through game 3 in order to pick up the dub there. But that was great. It's great to see Lizard Dog running around. Round 7, I was up against Sky Consi, who some people may be aware is the Perth 2020 regional champion. So I was a bit concerned about facing them, but fortunately, as they pointed out towards the end of game 2, I countered the fuck out of them. So that was a bit of an unfortunate match for them. They said their team exists to slow the game down as much as possible, and my team is not one that is able to be slowed down. So unfortunately, that was their first time experiencing my teams and how I play them.
What was their team? Was it like Eternatus?
It was it was Thunderbirds. So Miraidon Ho-Oh with Incineroar, Grimmsnarl, Ogerpon, Rock, and Sinistcha.
Right.
So the Ho, I don't even think they brought it after game 1. Because, I mean, I just had a really good matchup into Ho-Oh. I threatened it with both my electric types, and if it terrors, it gets Flare Blitzed in the face. And honestly, it's the same with Miraidon as well. If they don't Terra, it dies to one of the 3 dragon types on my team, all of which are running Stab. And if it does Terra, then Terra, Fire, Flare Blitz, and Sun eats it.
Or even like Terra Electric Thunderclap.
They were running a very interesting Miraidon build. Covert Cloak, Drift,
it was.
Gleam, Calm Mind, and Protect. I don't think I've seen a build like that as yet.
No, it was, and I think that's part of their thing is this kind of slow setup on Calm Mind Miraidon, presumably with a bunch of physical bulk. But they would try to set screens, but unfortunately for them, I'll just lead Incin Miraidon and fake out, obliterate the Grimmsnarl before it could do anything.
Yeah.
So that was a rough matchup for them. And then round 8, I was up against a young gentleman by the name of Harris Gall, also from New Zealand, although apparently he's originally from Scotland, he was telling me. It was his first ever tournament that he had come to, so good to be up against him at the 4-3 table. And he was running Koala, so Lunala and Koraidon, with Ursaluna, Fluttermane, Chi-Yu, and Rillaboom. So that was a bit of a tricky one for me. We did play 3 games. I was able to close it out in game 3. And I had the alternate wing con of just towards the end of game 3 when I had the game in the bag anyway. He had to run off to the bathroom with a nosebleed. So that was a good way to guarantee the victory for me.
You meant to attack the Pokemon, not the trainer, Mark. What the fuck?
Evidently, when you just sucker punch them across the table, you win on the spot.
Sucker punch IRL.
Yep. But no, so he was played really well. So shout out to Harris. Good job on your first ever tournament. 4-4 is incredibly respectable. And I also shout out to all my opponents because 4-4 was the lowest record any of them achieved across the entire day. So,
having that resistance above 50 is always nice to see.
Yeah, not quite nice enough because I finished 66th, bubbling out of top 64, which the difference being an extra 20 CP and the second half of the booster box.
Where's the other half?
And I will say between 62nd and 66, so those 5 players, all of us had 56.25% resistance on our opponent. So it came down to opponent's resistance. And unfortunately, I had the lowest of all those. So my opponents did a great job. Their opponents sucked dick. So
apparently.
That shafted me a little bit and stopped me from getting the rest of that booster box.
And that 20 CP.
That 20 CP, which matters a lot because I definitely would have been in a chance for Worlds otherwise.
You should be good for
actually
rewards, right?
Yes, I have cleared the 200 CP, so I am an ace trainer. I will be getting the ace trainer reward, which I care so much about.
Good work, Mark.
Mark is actually correct. His opponents do suck dick because I've played against Sky.
You met one of them in the bathroom.
I mean, I'm not saying I did it, but no, yeah, so I probably tanked Sky's resistance. That was me.
Yeah.
That's fine. But also shout out to Harrison McCowage, another Perth player. If we
Shut the fuck up.
he's played in Perth locals. He must be a Perth player. He is an honorary Perth player, I will say. Who was 65th, so immediately above me with the same resistance, also bubbling out on opponents, missing out on that 20 CP and that booster box. And for him, the CP may have genuinely mattered as well.
Yeah.
So shout out Harrison. Sorry about that.
As we're all waiting in the line, one of his mates is like, "You're not gonna like where you end up." He's like, "Don't tell me that." He's like 65th.
Having been someone that's finished 65th at a regionals before, I know the pain.
I will say I remember that. Was that when you and I had the same record and I was top 32 and you weren't even top 64?
Yeah.
That
was
was
the one.
homophobic bullshit like that. Yeah.
That was rough, but very funny. But yeah, I will say I was not even expecting to be as high as 66th because I wasn't paying attention to my opponent's runs. And going from 0-2 to 2-3 to then climbing up to 5-3, you kind of expect to have a fairly low resistance just based on, the wins that your opponents had or lack thereof when you actually played against them. But most of my opponents, fought and clawed their way up like I did. So shout out to them for getting me all the way up to 66th place. I was not even sure I was going to make top 128.
Nice.
Donks.
Very good finish. And then we take a little tumble to get to the next panelist.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'll just shout out some of the names that were in between Mark and Chris traveling with us.
We will be here all day if you do that.
Jared Clappen at 5'3", Oliver Eskelin at 5'3", Ashley Coe at 5'3", Cy Evans. Cy Evans Ocaron. I said that wrong and I apologize. At 5'3". Who else travelled with us? Angus Wood, honorary Perthian at 4'4".
Wait, who else travelled with us? Are you implying that Oliver Eskelin travelled with us?
No, he didn't travel with us.
Is that another honorary Perth player?
No, I just wanted to shout out that Oliver Eskelin came to Melbourne.
No,
yeah, they went 5'3".
People who live in Perth. Kuro lived in Perth. Stop blaming everyone.
For all of 5 minutes.
6 months.
Alfie.
It's a stretch, is all I'm saying.
Alfie Morgan at 4'4". We're going down. Jordan Lamb,
5'3".
Jordan Lamb, who barely rocks up to anything. 4'4".
You missed Brett Jason Slivka.
He finished above you.
Oh, that's true.
I'm tumbling.
Actually, we don't need to shout that out. You can cut that.
Brendan Robeson at 3'4", and then we're getting close. Chris Marr at 3'5". How was your day, Chris?
Well, it started off amazingly, actually. Shout out to my round one opponent, Jacob Piscopos, who didn't even turn up. He went 0-2 drop.
He did. Another 0-2 dropper.
Thank you, Jacob. That's right.
You missed out on playing against a heat team there, though, Chris.
What was it going to be? What was I going to lose to?
It was going to be Grimsnarl, Koraidon, Calyrex Shadow, Walking Wake, Incineroar, and Jumpluff.
Oh, don't give me the jump off matchup. Thank God I dodged that.
That's what you missed out on playing. That must be devastating for you.
Yeah, I now I know now knowing that I'm even more devastated with my performance. So I started off round one with a win, which was kind of good. Like it's not really particularly great for resistance for like day two and stuff, but obviously that doesn't matter getting into day two if you get X2. But then like when you're trying to get a finish at a certain like number, that it's not good to have someone drop against you because their resistance is going to be terrible for the rest of the tournament.
25%.
But yeah, yeah. So then we got to round two. This is a Singaporean player. I thought it was the same person that Mark played round one, but I think it's actually different. It's Zhang Yu Z, and he also had the Leech Seed Calyrex Ice Rider team with Ogie Dogie and the Scarf Miraidon.
Yeah. Probably team building in a pair.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
and
that seemed like the team that was coming from China.
Yeah.
I know the one that was up against Dan didn't have the Okie Dogie, but definitely that Scarf Miraidon with the Leech Seed Cali core.
Yeah. This player pivoted a lot. I had Incineroar, and he was just pivoting Incineroar a lot. I won game one, like quite easily, and I was like, hell yeah, I got this. I'm going to be like 2-0 at the start of my tournament run. Then game two, he led his Scarf Miraidon, and they have to attack, right? I just went like Terra Normal E-Speed. So I tell you, my first of my team it's two-pack, so it's Koala, which you've already said is Lunala Koraidon, with two pussy cats. So it's Chen Pao and Entei, and then I had Whimsicott and Brood Bonnet as a little bit of a speed sandwich type thing as well. And I led Entei Chen Pao and just went Sucker Punch Terra Normal E-Speed into the Scarf Miraidon and destroyed it. His Ogie Dogie Drain Punched my Terra Normal Entei the same turn, obviously reading the E-Speed. So I kind of traded my Entei for his Scarf Miraidon. We both took a KO in the first turn. And I was like, okay, that's a good trade. I've got rid of his Miraidon, like, all just for an Entei. Like, this is great. But, like, then the Incineroar pivoting started again. And, obviously I lost my Inner Focus Mon. Chen Pao got Will-O-Wisped and can't really do any damage to an Incineroar anyway. I was like praying. It came down. I sort of managed to throw my lead. I think it came down to 1v1 1v1 Chen Pao versus Incineroar. My Chen Pao was burnt. His Incineroar. I was just fishing for crunch defense drops, and like honestly, it was only on a little bit of. He did knocked off my Focus Sash, and then he was just doing knockoff, chipping me while I was getting burn damage, and I was trying to chip him back with crunch, but I just couldn't beat the Incineroar endgame. So that was devastating. And then, because I feel like I should have won game two. Then game three, he mixed it up completely. His team also had a Glamora. It was Focus Sash. And I don't think I had my Lunala that I brought. And all my team's very physical, and I couldn't not proc the Toxic Debris. He also had Mortal Spin. So my entire team was poisoned very early on. And with his damage mitigation and pivoting, he had Scarf Miraidon in the back, so my team was crippled and poisoned and taking chip, and he was just picking them off with Miraidon at the back. I couldn't even protect because there was so much the poison, toxic poison was going to kill me at the end of the turn. So it's not like I can even protect against things because he can just, it was devastating. I just got destroyed game three. Yeah, so that was 1-1. Shout out to my round three opponent, Adam McCarran. He was Irish guy that lived in Australia, not in Perth. We're not claiming him, but he was super lovely. He, I assumed that he was just another Irish doctor that migrated here because all the Irish doctors seem to come to Perth, but he wasn't a doctor. He worked as a medical imaging or something, but he was so lovely. And we caught up a few times during the tournaments talking. He'd always come up to me and see how I was going. And so he was lovely. He said to check out the podcast. So shout out to Adam McCarran if you're listening. He had a Covert Cloak Whimsicott, Scarf Chi-Yu, Specs Miraidon, Electric Seed for Giraffe, AV Iron Hand, and Sash Calyrex Shadow Rider. Not reinventing the wheel there, but I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 games, but I beat him because I think this was his first big tournament, and I just had so much experience with my team that it was a fairly meta team, and the only he got a heat wave burn on my Chen Pao. I was saying on Twitter yesterday that I think heat wave secretly has a 30% chance to burn, and they just got a coding error because heat wave burns just happen so often compared to any other fire move. That's all I'm saying. Maybe because it hits 2 targets, that might be why it burns more. But it was crazy.
That would explain why it feels like it misses more.
Yeah.
True. Yes.
Yeah, it becomes like 19% because of the two 10%.
Yeah, 19%.
Yeah. I kind of just played really well. Like, she got an encore lock off, and he like didn't terror when he should have. Like, he had I guess crunches for a giraffe and just things like that. And then there was a turn where he could have actually beaten me, but he forgot. He terrored his Miraidon, went into move selection, then kind of unselected the move, and then unselects terror without you kind of realizing. So he thought he'd terror, but he actually hadn't. So then I could one-shot his Miraidon. I felt kind of bad for him because that's happened to me before. Like the terror button, really, if you click terror, it should be terror until you unclick it, in my opinion. But anyway, round 4, Matthew Lawson. Shout out to you, Matthew. He was the first of my string of Ho-Oh matches, and I knew that Ho-Oh was popular at Milwaukee. There was trending online. People were picking it up. It was a good mon with a lot of different Koraidon or Miraidon. Did I practice into the matchup? No, I practiced into Nightlight, into Scooby-Doo, into a lot of other koala teams, and I had all my lines into those. I didn't really expect to run into too many Ho-Oh. It was kind of one of those things where you just kind of dodge the matchup, hopefully. Turns out my team cannot beat Ho-Oh. The only thing that can really take it out is a Meteor Beam from my Lunala, but because they can protect or play around that or pivot out, once you can't really fire off multiple Meteor Beams without the Power Herb. So that was just a nightmare matchup. He had Sharp. This is the Sharp Beak Ho-Oh player, which I've been complaining about ever since. It was Sharp Beak Ho-Oh with dual Wing Beat, and he didn't miss a single Wing Beat in either game because it's only got 90% accuracy, remember? And he got a double crit on my Terrifier Koraidon, got just one shot with double crit with dual Wing Beat. I don't know what the maths is on that, but that is absolutely outrageous. And he had a pretty cool team, though, I must admit. Despite Shabik Ho-Oh, Focus Sash Raichu, Kanto, Specs, Calyrex, Shadow Rider, Ogerpon Water, Wellspring, Mental Herb, Tornadus, and that was really, really annoying because I couldn't encore his Tornadus, and that Mental Herb actually saved him both games. AV Urshifu Single Strike was the last slot, which is also just crazy. It was just a really off-meta team. Shout out to Brute Bonnet because it lived a Ho-Oh Sacred Fire in Sun without terroring, which is just a crazy thing to live. I mean, obviously the Sun gives it a defense boost, but still, it's only a 33% defense boost or whatever it is, isn't it? Still, that should not survive a Ho-Oh Sacred Fire and Sun. That's outrageous. I don't know how much investment was in the Ho-Oh though. But yeah, it just became this awkward. He had Icy Wind on Tornadus as his only attacking move. It's great because he wasn't running Rain, so why run Bleak Wind Storm? Right? Icy Wind's pretty good move to have, and I was so shocked because I forgot he was Icy Winning me, and then late game his Ogerpon Wellspring went before my Chen Pao. I'm like, what the hell? And I was this close to calling Judge, and I was like, hang on. Icy Wind. He did actually drop my speed, but yeah, he just played really well. So good on him. And then round 5, another Ho-Oh player. This one was Ho-Oh Miraidon. It's just the Ho-Oh leftovers, bulkier sort of version. Specs Miraidon, Ursaluna, Iron Hands, Farigiraf, and Grimmsnarl. Oh wait, it's exactly the team. It's the team from Milwaukee.
It sure is.
This was Matt Island. Yeah, Matt Island.
Not from Ireland
as well. Not from Ireland, unlike the other Adam McCarran. But yeah, Matt Island, and also shout out to my opponent sitting next to me, Jared Cummings, as well. He was a legend as well. He took a sticker, an O2 drop sticker. Hopefully, they got a couple of new listeners in Jared and Matt Island as well. But he had the Milwaukee 6, the Tangang kind of 6. And it was only 2 games again because I realized that I can't beat Ho-Oh. My Bonnet was slower than his Iron Hands. he must have had a very fast iron hands, so I couldn't spore it because I had speed investment in my brute bonnet. He kept screens up a lot. Because he had Ho-Oh leftovers and regenerator, he had like the Grimmsnarl with screens, and I could not break a Ho-Oh with reflect up and leftovers. Like, it's just not doable for my team, unfortunately. Yeah, there's not much more to say than that. It's just that it was a very well-made team. He stole it, obviously, but very well-made team. Round 6 was Sky Consti, who Mark played. She was absolutely lovely. We chatted the whole time. So shout out to you, Sky, for listening. And she had a Choppleberry Incineroar, which is cool to see. Covert Cloak Miraidon, leftovers Ho-Oh again, my third Ho-Oh in a row. Ogerpon Cornerstone, Sinistcha with Citrus Berry, another cool mon to see, but she didn't actually bring Sinistcha, unfortunately. I did say like last week that Sinistcha was like a cool pick against like Iron Hands and Ursaluna and things like that. So hopefully that helps Sky out, that mon a bit. And the last slot was Grimmsnarl. And it's just she had with Incineroar Grimmsnarl, she had double parting shot. So double parting shot with also fake out pressure and screens and Ho-Oh leftovers. Honestly, you just could not do anything. You were basically just chipping things while your Pokemon were like negative. Like my Koraidon was like -4, my Chien-Pao was like -4. Like, they can just like what can you do? You know, like I have a few dark Pokemon that can't be pranks to parting shocked, but like you can board position around that, and like her experience shows she played really well. We had fun though. Like at this point, I just accepted the fact that it was not going to be my day. Like the third Ho-Oh matchup in a row that I couldn't beat, and then round 7 was Galvin. Galvin Hui, Hui. Galvin Hui, another lovely guy, but he literally sat down, and the first thing he said to me was, Takumi said to say that you're going to lose. And I had no idea.
That's right. I was like super close to your table and I heard that. I had a fucking chuckle about that.
And I'm like, Takumi's talking shit, and like Chloe. The night before he was having dinner with some Perth people, and shout out to Chloe, Marco's missus. Like she messaged me and was like, "Oh yeah, Takumi says you're not gonna win tomorrow." Like so Takumi was talking shit about me through other people the whole weekend.
That's so funny.
So, Takumi, I am coming for you. There will be revenge. But Galvin had a koala team, the Lunala Koraidon, but he had the Flutterfish, like Fluttermane Chi-Yu version with Indeedee, female, and Brute Bonnet. So it's a pretty standard 6 actually. The Lunala having the Trick Room mode. Rather than and also expanding force, so it doesn't have Power Herb, Meteor Beam. It's got banding force and Trick Room, and yeah, it was just another. He again played well. I really didn't. He had a first turn wake. Like I spored his Lunala, and then he woke up the next turn, and that could have swung the game. But like he got critters. Like he critted my Lunala with Flare Blitz, Koraidon, and Sun on turn 1, and one hit KO'd my Lunala through Shadow Shield with the crit.
Oof.
It's like, and he obviously went first. So it's like I don't even like my Lunala was not just like a non-feature. He got like just everything went wrong. Like it was just one of those games where, and I'm already at round 7, and Sliff, who has had my exact team, he went 3-0 the first 3 rounds. He'd never played a game of Reg Eye before. He like literally rocked up to the regional with my team, like exact spread for spread, being like, "Well, your team won the last cup, so I'm using your team." I gave him like maybe 1 or 2 tips. He hadn't played a game of practice, and he goes 3-0. Then he went 4-1, and it got to the stage where I was like, "I'm like 2-5 or some shit by this stage," and he's like on the top tables, like the winning in. And thank God for Nick Khan beating Sliff so that he wasn't like going to make day 2. So the one thing that Nick Khan's ever done for this podcast, he stopped Sliff making a name for himself. So
you said you weren't going to talk about him anymore.
Well, I'm going to give him an honorable mention. 1, because I'm just so impressed that he did so well at all his runs at Santiago and at Utrecht and Melbourne
Thailand.
and the Thailand Master Ball League. Like, Nick, you had a huge weekend.
Massive.
Well done for all your results and all 4 of those events. Huge. But he did say, him and his brother were there, and it's Chris Khan, right?
Yeah.
It's his brother?
Yeah.
Yeah. They were there, and I was trying to get them both, because I said to Nick, like, mate, we mention you every week. You get a shout out every single week on the podcast. Like, do you still listen? Do you hear these shout outs? Because he complained to me last time that I met him that he didn't give him enough shout outs. He doesn't even listen to it. He told me he only listens to episodes with Alistair Sandover's on. So, Nick Khan, this is your last ever mention from me on the podcast. How fucking dare you? Like, we have a lot of better episodes than just the Alistair Sandover ones, and we're not going to give me any more shout outs. I don't care how well you do at whatever event you go to. That's the last one you're getting from me. And also, who brings their mum to the regionals? Just saying. Nick
Oliver
Khan,
Ramsey.
Oliver Ramsey's 16. What's Nick Khan's excuse?
Isn't he like 12? How old is he?
I said he's like 12. Peter Vowers, if you're listening, can you fact check how old is Nick Khan?
I'm pretty sure Nick Khan was like 6 or 7 at 2014 Nationals.
That would make him 17, 18 now.
Yeah. I could be wrong about that. One of the Khan family was like running around with a DS, getting people to test them on their knowledge of the sounds that Pokémon make, of which no one could stump them. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Nick, because Chris was playing cards at that point.
He wasn't the only one that said there are a lot of people that say, oh, yeah, we only listen. A lot of people were saying, yeah, we listened to a few episodes, which is great. Thank you for that. So a few people said, oh, we only listen if you've got a big guest on. I'm like, okay, yeah, well, we have had some big guests on, but, and we will continue to get big names. We've got some more on the cards, but we cannot do it every week. And it takes a lot of time and effort and organization and editing and all that sort of stuff to get international guests on the podcast. So
also, what the fuck? We've got 2 5-3 finishes on this podcast. What more could you possibly want?
Yeah.
We should just start clickbaiting all of our future episodes.
We should.
Just lie who's coming on.
Yes.
You'll never believe what VGC player we got for the podcast.
Stick around to the end to find out.
Thumbnail.
Yeah. Yes.
You'll never believe which slurs Wolfie Glick said on our podcast this week.
Yeah. Did Wolf Glick come on our podcast? The answer may not surprise you.
Stick around to the end to find out.
That's a good plan. So yes, listen to our episodes, even if it's not a big name guest or if Alistair Sandover's on it. Okay, that is not very fair.
We're very entertaining on our own. We promise.
Except for when we
can be funny sometimes, even when we don't have people like Moxie Boosted doing us a massive favor by appearing on the potty.
Yeah.
I was actually speaking of one of our guests. It was so funny seeing on Twitter yesterday. Andy LeVGC, Andrew Levine, a friend of the show in Florida, he was commenting on some random Twitter post, and it's like, oh yeah, apparently they know me in Australia. I commented, I was like, confirming Andy is loved in Australia. It was cute that he's surprised that people know who he is. If you're a PokeTuber,
we have brought Andy LeVGC to the people.
We have supplied them,
and also people overseas. I don't know why people overseas are like surprised by the fact that YouTube like crosses the border of America into other countries. It is a worldwide service. Well, actually, I don't know if they've got it in China or something, but most countries have YouTube. It's one of public service.
Well, I will say, my round 1 opponent, who is, he plays in China, so presumably he lives in China, because otherwise, why would you put yourself down for the Chinese circuit? He said he saw the shirt that I was wearing, and he said he was a big fan of the podcast.
Huge.
So clearly they've got some way of accessing it. Maybe Buzzsprout, which is the service that we use to upload everything, isn't banned, and that's how he's listening to it.
Could be.
And they've just got like the ROM hack of O2 Drop.
Just using a VPN for Spotify just to listen to the O2 Drop.
Huge.
Yeah, we've made it. And my round-out opponent, I don't want to forget my round-out opponent, Ryan Chesham. You are also a legend. He brought my favorite Pokemon ever. He had safety goggles Umbreon. He had the physical Ursaluna, Lunala, Indeedee, Oligopon, Wellspring, and Telepathy, Dialga Origin. Just set those trick rooms, and then Ursaluna, Earthquake next to it. It was actually my first trick room team that I played against. It was like a proper trick room. It was like a hard trick room team. He didn't even bring Umbreon though, so I'm going to deduct points for that because I told him before the best of 3, I was like, wow, you have Umbreon. That's my favorite Pokemon. Please bring it. He didn't bring it. Maybe he thought I was trying to bait him into bringing it because I had a good matchup against it, but like it's Umbreon. Like everyone's got a good matchup against it. So I think he was, just trolling me. But yeah, great team. Loved it. I did 2-0 him, but to be honest, I needed a win after like 4 consecutive losses. So I ended up 3-5. Yeah. I don't know where all these opponents were. There were people like during the day that were like, oh yeah, my opponent didn't even have a restricted. Oh yeah, my opponent didn't even like have EVs or IVs. Oh yeah, my opponent, like this is the first time they've ever like played off like Smogon before. Like, all this like, I'm like, where were my people that would need that with that? I'm getting like former regional champions and like these, assassins from Singapore, and like the Ho-Oh gang, they were just destroying me. I want the people who are just rocked up on the day with like their in-game team that they haven't even trained properly. That's what I needed.
That's what you needed to feel good.
Yes. But it was actually, honestly to God, it was my worst regional finish ever. And I've been playing regionals since I think probably at least 2017, and that was my worst one. So it's the curse. It's the curse. If you win a locals, the locals before the regional, it's like now an official rule. You're guaranteed to do shit at the regional. It's happened to me twice now, where I've gone back-to-back locals and then got destroyed at regionals.
Nice. Look, before we move on to the winner, their team and their run, being, of course, Perth's very own Kuro, a shout-out to the O2 droppers going into the O2 Drop Hall of Fame from Melbourne Regionals. We had Pablo Gima McDonald, which I believe was one of Dan's opponents. We have Jack Shaddock, who none of us played, but they had a Pikachu on their list. Huge. Jacob Piscopos, which I think was a Mark opponent.
No, that was Chris's round one.
That was Chris's round one. And then disgraced Formula One driver Nick DeVries. I joke, it's not actually the disgraced Formula One driver, but Nicholas DeVries, also an O2 drop. So welcome to the O2 Drop Hall of Fame.
I'm sure that Formula One joke was incredibly funny for all 4 people who are both VGC fans and Formula One fans.
Marco loved it.
Shout out Peter Vows.
Yeah, shout out to Peter and Marco.
Our friend Marco, who doesn't play VGC, yeah.
But he listens.
I'm sure he tells you that.
The 2 best Pokemon at Melbourne with a win rate above 70%, Toedscruel and Porygon 2, of course, both only had one appearance, piloted by the one and only Dan Walker. And then there were a handful, 5 Pokemon that had a 0% win rate. So condolences to Latios, Wo-Chien, Landorus Theron, Heatran, and Snorlax, all of whom went home with 0 wins.
Hold on, don't we have a...
Thank you, Dan.
That's rough. Latios, that's a shame to see. I was running that in Reg F for a bit.
That was a Dudiverse who dropped. It was like Scarf Latios. It was cool.
Yeah, was that the one who
didn't
dropped
get to
because
play?
their controller didn't connect?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, well that's a bit rough to have it on this list then.
Yeah, would have been cool to see.
I was looking at the most unique day 2 Pokemon, and it was a Ditto, a Porygon 2, only one, like not many half flames are Iron Moth, but I'm glad that Entei made day 2. I don't know who the other Entei player was other than me and Sliff, but whoever the Entei player was that made day 2, good on you. I think Entei is slept on. And also there was Daniel Walker's Toedscruel in day 2.
Yeah.
Okidogi was in day 2. Okidogi's actually, I'm ready to admit that Okidogi's good.
It's about fucking time.
I know.
I have been championing Okidogi since.
I don't
in fact,
like
you know what?
it.
I will say So I started running Okie Dokie towards the start of Regulation F, and I've become known in our local scene as the Okie Dokie guy. But I feel like I need to give a very pointed shout out to Cy Evans, friend of the show, a good friend of the Mark, who is notorious within the scene for some absolutely outlandish cooks. He cooks with the most insane Pokemon and makes the most ridiculous calcs. Like, guys, did you know if you take Ribombee and you give it, like, Beads of Ruin and then do this specific thing in this order, then I can actually Oko a Tinglu or some shit like that?
Yes.
Right? Like, it's... he just cooks the most outlandish stuff. And he was actually cooking the Okie Dokie before me. And he saw a couple of replays and he suggested it for my team. Gave me the spread for it because most of the stuff that I work with is just everything is 252, 252. But he gave me that, and I picked it up and ran with it, and I've been running with it on most of my teams since that point. So shout out to Sai, the real Okie Dokie guy.
The real Okie Dokie guy.
I'd also like to give a shout out to another Okie Dokie guy. I only discovered, because I obviously friend of the show, Brendan Robeson, is a notorious hard trick room player, and he started running Okie Dokie on his hard trick room teams in recent weeks and doing pretty well with it. I discovered, though, that he's in some like sordid secret team building group chat around the country with like other deviant hard trick room players led by Bravado VGC, aka Connor Betts. If you're listening, Connor, first of all, you better subscribe. But second of all, how dare you start some hard trick room cult? He built Robeson's team.
Did he?
Yes, which was my only loss at the last cup. So this like hard trick room criminal ring that's crossing borders. We need to crack down on it. Maybe you need to deport Robeson out of Perth, actually.
Replace him with another Japanese player who came and stayed for a couple of weeks. Oh my god! If you go and watch the interview with Kuro, he loves us Perth players so much, and here you are discrediting him. Yeah, he loves Perth a lot. That's why he holidayed here.
It was 24 weeks.
24 weeks. It was 6 months.
He had a visa. He didn't just like come for the weekend.
Was it a resident visa or was it a 6-month student visa?
Well, it was a student visa, but he still had to live here. Hey, if the Pokemon Company is saying that he's an Australian citizen for this season, he is a Perth citizen for this season.
We should explain that to the Department of Home Affairs. This is like, look, he may only be on a student visa, but the Pokemon Company International says he's a citizen. So,
well, fuck the Department of Home Affairs.
Where are we drawing the line? Because
because he wants his flag changed to Canada.
Yeah,
Did he actually ask that?
He refuses to get Twitter to ask Victory Road himself.
That's hilarious.
No one do it for him. Let him do it himself.
Get Twitter, Robert, and pay to listen to the bottom cut. God
Use
damn
your
it!
doctor money.
Not a doctor.
Cycling back to Brendan Robeson, I thought he got Okie Dokie from that cabal of pro players that he's been paying to help him play Pokemon.
Cabal.
I mean,
I feel like he's done a bunch of but like I've heard he's been doing a bunch of coaching sessions with various like US players, like the top level ones.
Yeah, I know he's been doing coaching with Joe UX. I mean, Matt Slocum was getting coaching from Justin Tang.
Wow.
I don't know if you guys knew that one.
From Alex Underhill.
Did you?
Yeah, I did for this tournament. I just like the teams he builds, man.
Fair enough. Yeah, because I also heard that Robeson went with Chopper Cross as well, I think.
Yeah, that's cool.
Did a few sessions with him.
Hey, Chris, have you considered coaching to do better for regionals?
No, those who can't play coach, all right? I'm here to make my own team.
I think
you coach then, is what you're saying.
I think it's quite the opposite for Pokemon VGC.
Look, how about I will discuss my Pokemon future in the bonus content known as the bottom cut for those listening to our podcast for the first time, we do have subscriber only, like paid content. I will discuss my future in Pokemon there.
Amazing.
Just to the family.
Hold on, clickbait. Chris retiring? Tune in.
Find out
Tune
today.
in.
On the next episode of The Bottom Cut.
Okay. Well, now that we've spoken about ourselves for an hour and a half, let's talk about the winner of Melbourne Regionals, Masayoshi Kuro.
Honorary Perth player.
Our favourite Perth player. Yeah. His team was Calyrex Shadow with Focus Sesh, Terra Ghost, Astral Barrage, Psychic, Encore, Protect, a Koraidon with Ability Shield, or Terra Fire, Flare Blitz, Flame Charge, Collision Course, and Protect, accompanied with Incineroar, Safety Goggles, Terra Bug, Knockoff, Fake Out, Parting Shot, and Protect, Chi-Yu with Choice Scarf, Terra Ghost, Heat Wave, Flamethrower, Dark Pulse, and Snarl, Walking Wake, Assault Vest, Terra Water, Hydro Steam, Draco Meteor, Snarl, and Aquajet, and Wheezing Gala with Covert Cloak, Terra Type Water, Play Rough, Taunt, Will-O-Wisp, and Protect.
Watching the set in the finals, I reckon that Walking Wake was the MVP. But the Aquajet and the Snarl and stuff came in handy so often.
Yeah, the Aquajet seems really cool to break sashes.
The Aquajet clutched it up in Game 3 of the final match. I don't know if anyone's checked out the replay or tuned in for the stream from those fantastic folks at OCE VGC who put the stream together. But
shout outs to the stream, the people that did the stream. So like Scooteasy, I think took like months and months and months organizing this, but like everyone involved, like Henry, Harry, Masto, Paul Amity, Scott, like even Andy that did the graphics, and Mystic Live that did the producing, and like it wasn't it PvP Steve like from Pokemon Go that like got it off the ground as well.
Yeah, it was his setup that they used or something.
Yeah, they had to use the Go for day 2, which is pretty much the reason why we didn't have it both days. But yeah, thankfully VGC was able to piggyback off the work that Go has done there. So yeah, it was initially streamed on PvP Steve's Twitch, but yeah, OS VGC team got the VOD, and I believe they've chucked it up on YouTube now. So definitely check that out if you haven't. Yeah, very high quality stream from the few minutes that I was able to actually check out while I was judging the event.
Half of us had to watch the final on the stream because there were so many people we couldn't fucking see.
I will say it could still be better, but they did have them on like slightly larger monitors that were elevated off the desk for the sake of the recording, which did help a lot for trying to watch it live. Obviously, there's still opportunities for improvement in terms of, maybe getting a full-size monitor somewhere where it won't disrupt play, but will also allow people to watch without having to crane their necks or try to squint to see what's going on.
Like it was, the casters were sitting in Scott's house, so like
bedroom or something, right?
They didn't have like a professional green screen or backdrop or anything, so they're just sitting with like someone's house with like wall behind them. But honestly, boys, you did really well. You scrubbed up. Like seeing Masto in like a suit and red tie was hilarious. And so congrats to Masto, Harry, Scott, and Henry Rich. Yeah, like they did a good job. And now that we've got our foot in the door, like
fantastic job.
We've demonstrated that we can actually do a stream without like, it all going to pieces. Like at least hopefully now it makes it like they'll green light future streams in future without it being such a big deal. Like they've done it once before now. So that's the hope, right? That now that we've got our foot in the door with streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Sure. So yeah, definitely if you're listening to this and haven't checked out anything that the OCE VGC crew have done, do that, because supporting these streams kind of helps them to get more of them off the ground, and more events being broadcast really just helps everyone. right? Like it's more accessible. People can watch more events if they want to tune into more events. People who are attending these events get the opportunity to be broadcast, which is a pretty incredible thing to be part of, and generally just kind of brings more awareness to the game, which is a benefit as well.
Yeah, plus those podcast guys doing the post-game interviews is pretty good as well. They should do that more.
Yeah. And I think TPCI should actually pay the people doing those post-game interviews a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Maybe some exclusive promos while we're at it. I agree.
Yeah, exactly. And we should get we should get a very yeah, that's
How
true.
many did you do in Brisbane?
Wasn't even there.
Yeah, fuck
You were doing some lame. You were doing some lame booster draft side event or some shit. While Mark and I were doing all the hard work.
Hard work. All right, bet you can do the thumbnail this week.
Dan, he's sorry.
You can read all the stats for the other regionals that happened this weekend.
He's really sorry. He doesn't mean it.
I love that before we started recording this episode, Chris put a memo into the group chat saying he really wanted us to come prepared and put on a really good show this week because a lot of people from Melbourne who heard about us for the first time would be tuning in and we wanted to leave a first impression. And so far we've had recording from home mics, which sounds like shit, 2 people dying of COVID, half of us can't pronounce the names of the people we're up against, and now we're bickering like children over who's doing the least work in the podcast. and if I can just say, that is a fantastic first impression for this podcast, because that's exactly what you'll get for all the other episodes.
It
That's
is
not true.
Except usually the audio quality is better.
Usually the audio is way up. Okay.
Fix and post, it's fine.
Yeah, fix and post always.
Oh, I will say though, PSA, if you subscribe to the paid content for only $3 a month, not only do you get access to a bunch of bonus content and extra features like the exclusive subscriber Discord, but also we might get enough money to buy Chris an actual microphone for his house so he doesn't have to use the inbuilt one in his MacBook.
Actually, I stole a headphone from work and I'm wearing it right now.
It sounds like it.
Not great, if I'm honest with you, Chief.
My favorite is if we spam the soundboard, you can hear it come through his microphone because it's coming through the laptop speakers.
Wow, okay. Wait, why didn't you tell me before we started recording that it was so shit?
To be honest, I didn't think there was anything you could do about it. I'm going to assume there still isn't.
No.
Anyway, so Kuro won.
Tune in next week and to our other episodes for the most professional podcast that the VGC scene has to offer.
For sure. So yes,
I can't believe you waited until now to tell me that it's shit.
So we've run through Kuro's team. Let's go through his run. So it actually started off a bit shakier than you may think for a someone who's become an eventual regional champion. He did start 1-1. So his first match was against Matt Savelli, who ran Nightlight with Iron Bundle. Kuro got the win there. And then straight away into round 2, he had to verse Nick Khan, friend of the show and avid listener.
Enemy of the show.
Everyone, your friend of the show. Apparently he doesn't listen.
Exactly.
Who was running Kyogre and Calyrex Ice Rider. So Kuro took a loss there, going 1-1 straight away. But then a pretty good run. He took on Jesse Beard, who was running Double Bike with Flutterfish, got the win there. Took on Thomas Chen, who was running Scooby-Doo with Chien Pao and Tornadus, took the win there. Played another Scooby-Doo with Chien Pao and Tornadus. And Urshifu and Rillaboom, the same team twice in a row, so obviously got the win there. Then came up against Isaac Hames Montoya, who was running Shadow Rider and Miraidon. Forgive me, I can't remember the name we gave to that. Then round 7 took a loss.
Shadow Rider and Miraidon?
Yeah.
I can't recall that we did.
I don't think we did, yeah. Took a loss.
Shadow Rider Koraidon. Isn't that Raid Shadow?
No, Shadow Rider
Miraidon.
Wait, yeah. Raid Shadow Legends. They've both got the RAID in their name.
They do. Electric Raid Shadow Legends. Took a loss to Joji, who was running Groudon, Ice Rider. And then, unfortunately, in round 8, of day one had to play Kieran Singh, who was playing Tarapa Ghost, and beat Kieran Singh, knocking out the 2024 Melbourne Regional Champion and friend of the show. Almost like an omen that when you knock out the previous champion for the regional, it could become yours.
That was the point at which he truly became the Melbourne Regional Champion, was when he dethroned Kieran Mevlad, formerly Melbourne Regional Champion Singh.
Indeed. So then Kuro had a very simple and easy day two win against Andy Brophy, playing Zamazenta Miraidon. Shout out to Andy for all your stat work. Love to see it. Took a win against Bryce Facey, who was running Scooby-Doo, and that took Kuro into the top cut. There was a top cut of 14 players. So I'm pretty sure it was Bingji and Alistair who got the bye in the top 16. So here Kuro took on Joji Kaida again, getting the win, obviously. Top 8 played against Binji Wang, who was running Mr. Plow, and got the big win there. Top 4 took on Scott Kennedy with Mr. Plow again, getting the big win, taking him into finals where he took on Jude Lee, who was running Tarapa Ghost, getting the big win, finishing 12-2, winner of the Melbourne Regional Championship 2025. And he had an opponent resistance rate of 67%. So almost everyone he played was having a great time. He only has 3 opponents in his run who are under even. So yeah, definitely a tough lineup that he went up against, and he came out on top. So that was Melbourne.
Hell yeah.
Dan, would you like to run us
That was
through
Melbourne.
the what's it fucking called? Would you like to run us through the final standings for the Master Ball League that happened this weekend as well in Thailand?
Yeah, in Thailand. We had some heat, specifically one little mon that snuck in, but I'll go from the bottom 8 to the first. I'm going to butcher all these names, so I reckon I'm not even going to try, I think. I guess I should try the first names.
Yeah.
All right. Witsarut was running a nightlight team. It looks like the Tang 6 that won recently. 7th was Panyawat running a Mr. Plow team with Volcarona Cornerstone. Saccharin in 6th, also another Mr. Plow, but with a Pelipper. Number 5 was Narrowitch running a Scooby-Doo, pretty basic with Insin and Rilla. Number 4 was Jiren running the classic Flutterfish Koala team. 3rd was Warachate with the Tarapa Ghost. And the one that was making waves on Twitter and came in 2nd was Natanon running Mr. Plow with a Scraggy.
Scraggy.
Hell yeah.
Very heat, yeah. So the full team of Ice Rider, Miraidon, Scraggy, Iron Treads, Farigiraf, and Hands. I mean, people were talking about Scraggy like you got a slow knockoff. A Violite makes you pretty fat. I don't fucking know what else. Intimidate. He's just a cute little dude.
It was running Endeavour, I think, and
Very
coaching as
funny.
well. It's like
Very
fake
funny.
out coaching Endeavour and knockoff. And I think the coaching was specifically Scraggy over Scrafty, so it was 1 point slower under Trick Room than one of the other mons, so that it could get the coaching off before it attacked.
Very funny. And then in first place was, again, apologies for the pronunciation, Anasak. Running Parade Shadow Legends with a Bonnet, Galarian Wheezing, and Dozo Tatsu defense boosting.
Yeah,
So
you just hate
that
to
was
see
that.
a Wheezing Dondozo team win.
Well, this is what, a second win over the weekend for Wheezing Parade Shadow Legends.
Yes.
So don't know how I feel about that.
Neither.
We
Fucking wheezing, man.
we had like,
God.
I don't know. I was having a crisis about the matchup because I could not figure it out. And then I think I
Me
pushed that.
too.
I think I pushed that fear onto other people, just because I reached out to some friends and specifically asked Kieran, what should I be doing? It's like, nah, no one's going to run this. You're fine. Messages me on the Friday night. Yeah, there's a bunch of people who have come who are running.
I remember that. He came up to us.
Kidding.
He came up to us where we were sitting doing side events on Friday after check-in because he had been standing in the queue with all his Easterner mates who knew what all like the top level players were cooking. And he comes up, he's like, man, so many people are cooking wheezing.
I know. I was like, you fucking what? You told me just to dodge the matchup.
Did you dodge the matchup?
I did. I did it versus single one, which is very funny.
That's what I told you to do as well. I'm so glad you listened because you didn't do it at Brisbane.
You should do coaching.
I should.
Yeah.
What's the going rate now? It was $40 an hour a couple of years ago, but surely with inflation and everything, that's gone up.
Yeah, but that's 40 USD, man. So it's like 60 Australian dollars.
Cool. You know what? I'll just call it around 50 Australian dollars an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's the way to do it.
For context.
I stayed up Friday night.
Moving right along.
Has it been doing?
I will say, I do remember Wednesday night because I was staying on my brother's inflatable mattress in Melbourne that night. And I was trying to be quiet on Discord while the two of you were just freaking out over realizing you had absolutely zero lines into the wheezing team.
That's why you sound like that. I was going to ask if you were sick or you were whispering.
Yeah, I was whispering. I wasn't sick at that time. That came later. Excuse me. But yes, I was like in the other room and he had just got back from a work conference, which was essentially a 5-day bender, and he was recovering from a cumulative hangover. So I was doing my best not to wake him up.
Yeah, we were running scrims, and I think I just
and I was just quietly advising Dan to just not run into the team at all.
One of the other events on this weekend, of course, was the Utrecht special event, which was won by Mikhail Kelsch. Shout out to Mikhail. I hope you're okay. Because you yourself put up a photo on Twitter of one of your mates pushing you out on a fucking wheelchair. So I hope you're doing okay, friend. Because obviously the weekend was exhausting. I hope you're doing all good.
Couldn't walk because RNG fucked him so hard, probably.
Yeah. What do you mean he won?
Yeah, it can still happen. No, actually, you're right. If he won, it kind of fucked him that hard.
So Mikhail ran a Ice Rider and Maridon team. He ran a Leftovers, Terra Water, Glacial Lance, Leech Seed, Trick Room, Protect Ice Rider with a Choice Specs, Terra Fairy, Electro Drift, Draco Meteor, Dazzling, Volt Switch Maridon. A Screens Grimmsnarl.
So an innovative new Maridon build.
Yeah, very innovative. So a Screens Grimmsnarl with Thunderwave and Spirit Break, an AV Insin, Terra Grass with Flare Blitz, Knockoff, U-Turn, and Fake Out, a Urshifu Rapid Strike, Choice Band, Terra Ghost, Surging Strikes, Close Combat, U-Turn, Aquajet, and a Life Orb.
The Choice Band Urshi Water.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
They catch them on.
Yeah, the Choice Band Urshi Dark was very popular in Reg G, but yeah, the
well, if you
band Water, is there a reason for it? Is it like a breakpoint?
I think it just gives you the Terra boost.
They're all just running it. This was the one that the Tangs used as well. I think it's like, I don't know, I kind of feel like Urshi's dropped off in Reg I.
It definitely has, yeah.
There's so much other shit. So, like, hey, how do we make it stronger? Banned.
Give it the boost. And then, Life Orb, Landorus, Terra Poison, Earth Power, Sludge Bomb, Taunt, and Protect.
Taunt is interesting.
Yeah. Very, very...
I expect Michael to do very well at Worlds this year. I think he'd have to be one of the favourites.
Yeah.
I would say so, yeah.
Oh, well, he's done incredibly well over the last 2 Worlds campaigns. And of course, the pool for Worlds this year is going to be so much smaller than it's been in the past. There's going to be like 300 Masters at Worlds tops. I haven't done the math, but like just based on ICs.
Which that sounds like a lot, but that's actually an insanely small number of... Like, how many Masters did they have at EUIC? Was it in like 900 VGC Masters?
It was definitely up there. Let's give me 2 minutes to find out. So EUIC had 1,257 players.
Damn.
Yeah. That was the biggest VGC tournament to date, beating the previous biggest of 2024 NAIC, which was 920.
Yeah, so and do you know how many VGC Masters were at Worlds last year?
2024 Worlds was 694. So it should be
so almost 700
half.
Masters. So we're going to look, significantly less than half. So that's like, like I said, 300 sounds like a lot, but it's really not. Like that is not many people.
No, and it's
and is it even? Where are you getting 300 for? Because the US has 70 invites, I think.
75. NA and
75.
EU
We
get
have
70,
20.
Yeah, get 75. LATAM gets 50. Yep. We have 20. And then you've got the winners.
LATAM gets so much more than us for some reason.
Yeah.
We're going to have 23 because we've got Oliver, Diego, and Kuro, friends of the show, going from Australia. And we're going to have 20 other top placements. I'm guessing that Mark and Dan, you guys didn't make the top 20 this season?
No. I came in 31st.
Which is 21 better than last year. Big ups.
That's something. Yep. 550 odd fucking CP, not enough.
Yeah.
You're a 2.5 times ace trainer.
Let's go.
I think LATAM getting 50 when we get 20 is bullshit.
Give us 30 for no reason at all. I think that's the good number.
Give us 50, honestly. I didn't even come in top 50, but I feel like
20 is just fucking dumb.
Yeah, 20 is so dumb.
There is a bit of controversy as well. But people were calling Michael Navas out on Twitter this week. I actually heard some of the top players, and Kieran being one of them. But you look at the top 20 Oceania players. One of them actually lives in Latin America. Doesn't participate in any Oceanic events. Has not got any CP from our region at all. Only CP from Grand Challenges, Global Challenges, and Latin American events. And yet they are counted in our region and taking up one of my 20 spots. So, this is an issue when you've got so many good players in a region and only 20 places, and you've got people that shouldn't even be counting in our region.
Yeah.
And if Mark had his way, Kuro wouldn't count either, apparently.
That's not true. Not that it would matter because he got an auto invite from winning Melbourne.
He did.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's just... But Michael Navas, honestly, put in a support ticket, get your region changed, mate. It's not good enough.
100%. So I've just found on Victory Road.
So anyway, we're looking at about 250-ish.
No, because
VGC Masters for.
It'll be more than that because you're dismissing TPC regions. So thanks to
of course.
Thanks to Victory Road, we have the list of currently qualified for the 2025 World Invites. This hasn't been updated as of this weekend. So prior to this weekend, NA had 13 pre-qualified players. EU has 12. LATAM has 8. Oceania has 2. Middle East and South Africa have 1. Japan has 2.
Kitchen champion.
Yeah.
Kitchen champion, yeah.
Yeah. South Korea has 2, and then Asia Pacific has 24 pre-qualified players. So altogether, you're looking at about 40. That's about 70 players who are already pre-qualified. Plus,
yeah. So I mean, we're going to look at about 300 invites.
Yeah, I would. I'd say 350.
Not all of those people. Not all of those people are going to go to Worlds. A lot of them aren't going to be able to afford it, or some of them are just not going to want to. I get the feeling Kitchen Champion's probably not going to go. I mean, if they do, fair play to them. But essentially what I'm saying is Worlds is going to be smaller than Melbourne Regionals was. So it'll be an incredibly
That's a big call. I still reckon there'll be 300 Masters. I don't think it'll be under 300.
Putting a zinger box on it?
I'll put a zinger box on it.
Cool. Sweet.
Virtual
So I'll mark this down.
handshake.
I still need to get a zinger box off Sliff. He still
luck.
owes me a zinger box from when we put a bet on Worlds last year, when it was Cherubelli versus his opponent.
His opponent, the forgotten Japanese player.
Yeah, no, the Japanese guy running I Am Valiant. I don't remember his name.
Neither do I.
He was the loser. That's all that matters.
Speaking of Japanese players, though, don't Japan have a tournament where everyone who makes the top 64 and goes to day 2, all 64 players, it's like a best of 1 tournament. Don't all 64 players get a Worlds invitation?
No. It's definitely not that big a number.
I want someone to fact. I'm telling you, there's something like that. I want someone to fact check this. There's a Japan tournament. Like
There probably was.
Yeah, it's called Japan Nationals. It happens this year, the 21st and 22nd of June.
Okay, and what happens?
Last year, the top 4 got a Worlds Round 1 bye and a travel award. The top 8 got Worlds Round 1 bye. And then the top 49 got a Worlds invite.
Pretty sure it's 64 this year. I'm gonna put a zinger box on it.
Well, this is like equal 49, so I'm sure it is top 64. It's like all the people.
That's a huge amount of Japanese
1, 2,
players.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Hmm.
Like the 16 people all in 49th were all equal. So yeah, it's probably top 64.
Yeah.
There you
There's
go.
not going to be heaps of people at Worlds, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
At least like 3.
Joel and I are betting a zinger box on over-unders 300 for VGC Masters at Worlds.
Yeah. Where do you want to sit on that one?
How do we
Dan?
get onto this again?
Mikhail Kelsch.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Who won Utrecht? Who won Santiago? I'm going to mention that winner as well.
Santiago was won by Max Morales, friend of Spider-Man. And Max was running a Mr. Plow version as well. So the 4 events this weekend, 2 Mr. Plows and 2 Raid Shadow Legends by the looks of things. But Max's team...
Mr. Plows had screens as well.
Yeah. So this Mr. Plow, identical Cali Rider, Calyrex Ice Rider, identical Miraidon, identical Grimmsnarl, and here's the differences. Ursaluna, Flame Orb, Ghost, Facade, Crunch, Headlong Rush, Protect, Iron Hands with Assault Vest, Terra Bug, Fake Out, Heavy Slam, Low Kick, Wild Charge, and Rocky Helmet, Volcarona, Terra Water, Struggle Bug, Overheat, Tailwind, and Rage Powder. So the main difference between Max and Mikhail is the semi-room nature of Max's team. Otherwise, yeah, Mikhail Kelsch was like a semi-trick room with their other form of speed control being, Grimmsnarl Thunderwaves, which Max Morales also took. To that.
I want to give a shout out to a Melbourne Regionals team I just finally found. I found out who took Entei to day 2. So Drew B got 14th at Melbourne with Retina, really wild.
Yes.
Zamazenta, Giratina, Chenpao, Entei, Shifu, and Rillaboom.
Yeah, the Giratina team was heat. I was table judging one of his games. And yeah, basically like Giratina soloed that team that he was playing against. But yeah, it looks like Drew and Paul Amity may have team built together. They seem to have the same sort of team there with Zamazenta, Giratina, Origin form, yeah, with Grisius Orb, Shadow Sneak, Poltergeist, Draco Meteor, and Protect. And then, yeah, fairly standard Zamazenta, standard AV, Rillaboom, standard Choice Scuff, Urshifu Rapid with Coaching, Chiempow, and Entei, of course, Terra Normal, Life Orb, Extreme Speed.
I was chatting to Bravado and he was saying that this team just completely walled him because it's Terrafire Levitate on the Giratina. So like an Amorous can't touch it. Cali Ice can't really touch it either. So it's just like impossible to win. And I think you just got a bunch of good matchups taking it to the top 16.
Does because it's got Levitate, it's not actually going to get grassy terrain healing, is it?
No, it won't.
That's pretty interesting. But yeah, very cool team. We do enter a little bit of a downturn now for events because I think we are somewhat waiting for NAIC. I think there is another special event in South Africa soon. So who knows how many people are going to rock up for that.
I want to see what people are cooking for that one. Literally.
Maybe it'll be in the laundry this year.
All the wash shitters go to laundry for day 2.
Top tables are in the master bedroom.
Hell yeah.
Table 1 and 2 are in the ensuite.
So the final events of the year, we have Bologna in 2 weekends' time. And then, South Africa in this weekend does have its second special event in Almahanga Rocks, which I think is near Durban, if I'm not wrong. But VG is scheduled to be a 1-day event with Go and TCG.
Head judge in the cuck chair watching them on the master bedroom playing. Very interesting to see what comes out of that one. And then, of course, NAIC in a weekend or 2 after Bologna. And then we are at the end of the season. But we are pretty much at the end of
World's Draft.
World's Draft, baby. We are pretty much at the end of the season for Australians. We have, you may have seen the meme going around on Twitter of the sudden additional regional at Ballarat this weekend when this episode releases, because there is a very tight tussle between 22nd through to 24th in the Australian leaderboard. And we also have one more cup in Perth on the 25th. So be very interesting if somebody just needs a few points and they come over to Perth to try and grab it. But Perth has secured invites through Alistair, Kieran, Peter, and I think that's it, isn't it?
We say secured invites.
You watch everyone go to NAIC.
They're basically a lock, but they're not technically secured yet.
Yeah, NAIC still, has to happen, I suppose.
There's a Ballarat Cup that's about to happen where a bunch of people are going to score some CP, so, watch this space.
We're just talking about that, Mark. Come on.
And there's the Cano Cup that I'm winning this weekend.
Yeah, boy.
Genuinely, does the win this weekend benefit you at all, or is it just to get a win?
It's more of a moral victory after bombing at regionals, but also I'll gatekeep a cunt if I have to.
Hell yeah.
I don't think. I mean, if Sam Pandelis rocks up on Sunday, game on, Mole. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, you have properly started some Twitter beef with that gentleman, haven't you?
Do it for the content.
Do it for the content. Oh my god,
that's good at least. I do know that friend of the show, Jared Clappin, does need a cup win in order to secure his Ace Trainer rewards.
Yes.
So you can potentially gatekeep him from that.
How many CP does he need?
It's like 45, so he needs to win.
He needs 40.
Shit.
He needs 46.
Oh,
I need 8 CP to get mine.
Ooh.
So
how
I
many
need
cup finishes do you have?
Alfie needs 1 and he's working.
That's rough. Is that the last points event? We're not going to get any challenges or anything?
Not because all
Now in NAIC?
all of our stores crammed them into pre-Melbourne so that people could maximize their points going into.
Shit. Okay. So anyone in Perth, unless they want to travel for NAIC,
pretty much
have
done.
to do well on Sunday.
Yeah,
I would respect the fuck out of Alfie flying to NAIC to get 1 CP for his Ace Trainer rewards.
Yeah, I would as well.
but there would have to be a bunch of people go to NAIC to bump Peter out of the top 23, I think. He's on 882. Same with Alistair.
Yeah.
Has a great score of 999. And Kieran
It would be unlikely,
1197.
but it would be very funny to see that situation that I spoke about when they first announced this sort of prizing format, which is if you've got someone who's about to get enough CP to knock you out, you're just watching and really hoping they win the whole damn thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
you're
it'd be like,
please.
they've done so well. Now they've eliminated me. Now I really need them to win.
Yeah,
Or I think it's top four.
Yeah. Like, I need you to top 4 so that I can still go. I need you to no longer matter in the standings.
Yeah, so if a bunch of Australian players do go over to the US, Pete's got to hope that they do really shit or really well.
Yeah. I don't think anyone from Perth has scored a spot.
Yeah, not that I know of.
If Alfie does want to go to NAIC, I have got the perfect team for him.
He would have to already have gotten registration because it has capped.
Oh yeah.
Woohoo.
I want to give a shout out to a team from the Utrecht special event, Oliver James Hall. I don't know what he was cooking with this, but this team has to be seen to be believed. It was Kanto Persian, Lugia, Ambipom, Hisuian Typhlosion, Flareon, and Kurum Black. It had no cohesive strategy that I can see. I don't know if he was just like the lols, but he had like nasty plot on Persian and Ambipom, but no special attacks. Flareon had Fire Fang, and it was a special attacking Kurum Black.
Heat.
And Lugia had Safeguard, Calm Mind, Extrasensory, and Recover for no reason. Last Resort Ambipom. Look, maybe he just wanted to play mat and participation card. I don't know, but it's funny. A shout out to Oliver James Hall.
That is very funny.
Very cool. Well, gentlemen, I believe we should begin to wrap up our review of Melbourne. Again, from my side of things, thank you to all the judges I met over this weekend. ESL staff had great freaking time. Great to see everyone again. Great to meet new faces. There was something like 22 judges doing their first regional at Melbourne, which is, a super cool thing that more people are getting the opportunities to do these big things and take it back to their local areas. Most of the judges that I spoke to were like super passionate about their local stores and their local community, which, I am absolutely as well. Love all the Perthians who travel. Love all of y'all who rock up to locals. It has been a great season doing judging both local and regionals and bringing the O2 drop to you all. I hope we continue to do it forever because I don't see my ADHD brain ever letting Pokemon get boring. But yeah, big thank you to everyone for the weekend, for listening to us. Really appreciate it. Any other shout outs from my crew here?
I'll shout out everyone for listening. Thank you, everyone again who came up and talked to us at Melbourne. Shout to I don't know if we actually mentioned our 5 guys who made day 2. It was Matthew Slocum, Peter Vowes, Timothy Nurse, Masayoshi Kuro, and Alistair Sandover. Amazing effort. You did Perth proud. You did all of us proud.
Hell yeah.
And thank you.
Don't forget adopted Perthian Shohei, who also made day 2.
Yeah, he's also a Perth player now, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, and shout out Melbourne/resident Matt. He gave me a lift to the airport home.
Yeah.
Huge.
Shout out, Matt.
Shout out to Ashley Coe, who basically sent Crown Casino bankrupt with her performance at the Pokies all weekend. She went to the casino 3 days in a row and tie rolling. Thank you to Connor Betts, Bravado, for the free escape rooms on the Monday. That was a good exercise. WA team beat the monthly record for one of the escape rooms. So congrats everyone for that effort.
Heck yes.
And yeah, just thank you to everyone that just hung out with us on all weekend, and everyone who loved we have merchandise, by the way. You can go to the O2 Drop website and order merchandise, right? Is that Joel? Is that correct?
No.
It's not correct. I take it back. Edit that out. But the O2 Drop does have a T-shirt that says "Welcome to Australia." It says "Come to Australia." It's fucking Segoy. And so I wore it on Sunday, and so many people, like the judges, made me go to the judges' table so I could stand there and show the other judges behind, admin area, my T-shirt, because the judges loved my shirt so much. I didn't even get in trouble for it, even though it's technically offensive. So
That's
yeah,
incredible.
everyone loved that shirt.
Shout out to Dan for making the actual design.
Yeah, shout out,
Thank
Deb.
you.
Very well
And
executed.
shout out to me for coming up with the concept.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chris for making the next one.
Yeah.
I just want to make a quick shout out to Chris's $10 work microphone and his dial-up internet. $3
There's
a month,
nothing wrong
folks.
with my
We
internet.
can get this man the help that he needs.
This is your fault for having COVID. I was supposed to host tonight in my house. I even bought Tim Tams.
Well,
Aw.
Look, next week's going
I
to
mean,
go
you
off.
live 5 minutes away from me. You could always drop the Tim Tams off to me.
You're fucked.
Thank you again, everyone. We look forward to having you around next week when we return to the mics. Hopefully return to somebody's house because, yeah, we are all a little bit sick and flat this weekend. But, yeah, we enjoy having you around. We enjoy doing this for you. Leave us some comments, suggestions, and do consider supporting the potty by jumping on the bottom cut. Hit up the02drop.com to get redirected to our subscription page there. Until next time, friends.